Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Only One Noodle podcast. As always, I'm your host, Jose, and it marks a very interesting chapter in the podcast history because this is going to be the first time that I'm actually doing visual instead of just audio for the podcast. Um, Keep in mind, this is just a test right now, so you know, and also it's my first time, so after I edit it, it may not come out as like the best. You know, it may not become the best quality right now, but keep in mind, I am still trying to, figure this out, figure this shit out right now. Um, Obviously, I am doing this in my bedroom. Like the background is like, not real. So yeah, let's just get right into it. Um, First off, yeah, my first episode, I'm like doing you know doing a visual version. Not really a good start right now, but yeah, this is how most of the episodes are gonna be right now. Later on the line, I'm trying to see if I can actually do, I want to do a studio, but like not right now at the moment because money's kind of tight right now, and you know hang on, give me a second. So, but hey, here's the thing. At least y'all get to. At least y'all know what I look like now. For those who are trying to, picture like a voice, you hear the voice, but you really don't see the face. So, yeah, here we go. So also this is my first time recording on camera, so be patient with me. As far as these episodes are gonna go, they're probably gonna run no more than like an hour 15, maybe an hour 20, depending on like how, like what the content is or what I'm talking about. As far as me having guests on, that's another thing. I'm not sure if I'm gonna have any guests like right now, but for now, it's just gonna be me for like I don't know, maybe a dozen, maybe like every 10 like episodes I get someone. Yeah, I'm probably gonna get like a guest every 10 episodes or 15. It just depends on like who I get and who wants to do it. But that's the thing about a podcast. Like, I'm just trying to figure out my fan base right now. Well, yeah, I do have some fans, but and the thing is, like 98% of my fans live in the U.S. So I'm trying to change that. I'm like, trying to, I wouldn't say localize, but globalize in a sense. Like, I want to reach like a bigger audience. That way it's like, oh, like I can't find this guy on Spotify or wherever I get my my damn. I'm sorry, guys. Totally lost, but um. Anyway, regardless of that, I just want to say that I want to. Damn. Yeah, let me see. What was I? Yeah, usually it's not ideal. Usually do a podcast. I tried getting some friends on, but like either like you started the audio, but that one has like quite a few listens. For list bleh, for for Yeah, sorry, I had to check my laptop or something. Also, since I'm trying to get a fan base, so without further ado, let's actually get to some topics at hand, and also I do want to make it clear that also I'm recording this, so you know I'm still how do I say this? I'm still working the kinks with this whole recording system. So again, be patient with me. So let's actually get to some stuff. And as always, I want to clarify, this is subjective. This is my opinion. If you don't agree with it, I'm sorry. That's just how the way I feel about certain things. If you feel like this isn't really your thing, it's like, yeah, I don't like what you're saying. Maybe you shouldn't watch it, or maybe you shouldn't listen to this. But it's like I said, it's really up to you. Right now I'm trying to push for an hour, but we'll see how this goes. Also, I am gonna get some interruptions because my niece is like around like the apartment. So if you see me like nodding off in that direction or in this direction, then she's coming in. And honestly, I can't stop that. I can't stop her. She's 3 and she's kind of had a lot of energy. So yeah, that's about it. So let's actually start with the first topic. Now, the thing about this story is that a lot of people are really, really, divided on this issue, mostly because of what has happened, past several days. Oh, so that's like a tiny. Sorry, guys. I have this like microphone for like a few weeks. Well, months actually. Actually, it's gonna be a year actually. But anyway, getting distracted. So, yeah. Now I mentioned earlier about like the whole Israel-Hamas thing, and I gotta be honest with you guys. People have been telling me, who do you pick? What side do you pick? Do you think Israel's in the right, or is Hamas on the right here? Here's the thing. I support neither of them, mostly because it's. And here's the thing: if you're Palestinian and or Israeli, I get it. I understand why this whole thing is very, very sensitive to you, or like why it's rooted like deep for you, because I'm not gonna lie, I actually know people who have family living in Israel, and like as far as I'm concerned, they're worried as fuck because there's been airstrikes, there's been fighting. And that's war. People are gonna get in the way. It's collateral damage. It's unavoidable. If you wanna fight a war like without any casualties, good luck. There have been wars where like they last like a few hours and that's it. But honestly, this whole thing is kind of ridiculous, actually. Yes, I get it. Israel was put there on Palestinian land, and Palestine was like, no, fuck that. We were here first. But you have to remember that area right there has been contested for years. You look at the Crusades. You look at like the 40s when Israel was created, and I can see why. I can see why the people of Palestine is like frustrated. Like I said, it's like, oh, we've been here first. Like, why do you guys get this land? And not to mention that the area keeps getting smaller and smaller as I've seen as the years go by. Um, um, sorry. Unfortunately, it's gotten to the point where it's led to this, and sorry to say, but I pick neither side. Why? Like I said, you can support, like, if you're Palestinian and you're from, like, your family's from that area, I understand. If you're from Israel and you have family members in that area, hey. But here's the thing. The thing that I don't like is when people try to press it on me, like they're forcing me to pick a side. And then you get this whole like guilt shaming thing where it's like, oh, you don't like Israel, oh, then you must support Hamas and Palestine. I'm like, no. And then when Palestinians would, if a Palestinian would ask me that, they're like, oh, then you support Israel. I was like, no. And here's the thing, and again, it's, what I'm about to say, you're probably gonna like it, but I say that I am a neutral party mostly because here's the thing, I mean, and here's the thing, Israel's not entirely like at well, they're not out of the clear. I mean, based on what I've heard, they bombed a refugee camp, so yeah, I mean, and that killed people. So if you're bombing a refugee camp, yeah, that's not gonna look good on you. Like, it's gonna make it look like the aggressors here, and I can understand why some Palestinians see it that way. And then it reignited this whole free Palestine thing, which, again, I get it, but here's the thing: bombing people and threatening people is not gonna get you anywhere. And yeah, I've heard the old saying like, "Oh, the only way they know how to like communicate is by force." Yeah, and I get it, but you do have to realize that um, you have to realize that it's not always the case. It's like it's not gonna make people listen. Well, yeah, it's gonna like attract attention, but it's not gonna get your point across. If anything, you're just hurting your cause more than you're helping, you know. And that's not the point to like getting like what you want. And I get it. People don't like to talk. People don't like to say, "Well, negotiations have failed. We have to do this." It's like, no, let this happen, because I mean, honestly, you're just showing people out there saying like, I mean, you're no better than the people you're fighting, or the people you're trying to convince. Like, we need to be free, you know. And also, there are people dying. I mean, I feel like this whole thing is just about like flexing their muscles and everything, saying, "Oh, we're not backing away." Okay, you're not backing away. Oh, we aren't either. You just play chicken with it, like at this point. Like, military wise, you're playing chicken. Politics wise, you're playing chicken, kinda. I'm not sure about the politics, but like, here's the thing: if you want to cease fire, then maybe stop bombing, or stop blowing up stuff. Both sides, and not only that, um, somebody's gotten involved in this as well. And honestly, yeah, they're trying to make it a competition. Um, Basically, and who would that be? Sorry. Yeah, Ukraine saying like, yeah, but this whole thing is just starting to take away attention from us. And here's the thing: a lot of people are like, really, dude? It's not a competition. I mean, yeah, I get it. But here's the difference. Um, this whole thing started with a terrorist attack, and Israel felt threatened, so they struck back, and then Hamas fought back. But here's the difference between Ukraine and Russia. Russia was the invading force, and Ukraine is fought back. That's basically a war. This is just a conflict. And also, wars usually last about months. Like no more than a year. I mean, for it to be a war, it has to be like at least. I mean, technically, there's no, clarification of how long a war has to be. As long as like the opposing force defeats one forcing force that defeats the other, that's fine. The whole Ukraine thing that's been on for almost 2 years. Yeah, 2 years actually. And honestly, I mean that's after I consider that like an actual war because they're fighting, and then they're fighting off an invasion, and even Putin said like, nope, I'm not backing down now. I've already committed to this. This is happening, whether you like it or not. And yeah, I mean it's just you're just boosting up Putin's ego. All because they joined NATO. All because Ukraine joined NATO. Okay, honestly, I don't know what the big deal is about this. I mean, if anyone wants to, comment down there and say like, okay, this is why Russia feels this and that. I feel like it's just Putin being paranoid. Say like, okay, this might be an invasion. Like they're like, there's this whole conspiracy theory that everyone's against Putin. And I mean, it's no conspiracy when people are arming up and saying, "Oh, we made NATO join because they're tired of you like invading. So if you invade, we're gonna have to send support." And Putin sees us like, so you wanna fight me then? All right, fine. I got my men ready to go. And it's like, I don't know, but keep in mind, Russia is the aggressor in this. And some people saying, "Oh, you're just getting more attention for the war," or like the whole Israel thing is like, "Oh, sorry." People that are like focused on the Hamas war right now feel like the president of Ukraine is saying what the Middle Eastern conflict, people who support the war, either Palestinian or Israeli, say both sides are like, "Oh, you're just doing it to get attention." And here's the thing, I understand where the Ukrainian president is. Sorry, I didn't look up his name. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna look it up right now. Ukrainian president Vladimir Zelensky. All right, let's go with it. All right, so basically Zelensky says like, "Look, you're taking the attention from us, man. Like we're fighting our." I feel like he's saying like ours is an actual war. You're just fighting for land, and we're fighting for our country. And if that's how he said it, I can understand why people feel upset about that. I feel and like a lot of people are saying, "Oh, you just want aid, you just want people to funnel money into you so they can support you, not the conflict, or Israel." But keep in mind, the U.S. is funding Israel, so I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you want from that. And I feel like the U.S. is like letting this happen because obviously, yeah, they don't want to get involved. But you gotta realize there are Americans there too. And I feel like Biden's just said like, "Yo, maybe you shouldn't bomb refugee camps, okay? maybe find out what they actually are, and then send a missile strike. Don't just like send an airstrike and destroy a camp thinking that it's an enemy camp, because you're gonna get a lot of dead civilians. And honestly, thousands have already died. I mean, for me, it's about the people, all right? It doesn't matter who's right or who's wrong, or whose ego is bigger. I just want to say, help the people, okay? Because, and I know a lot of you are like, oh, then you support Israel or you support Hamas. Like, no, this is why I don't like doing these kind of like. This is why I don't like people asking me these kind of opinions, because they ask me something and whatever answer I give them, they don't like. They're like, they just want to hear what they want to hear. Like if they're pro-Israel, they want me to say, oh, like Israel's this, but, and that would kill it. And it's like, oh, you must support Hamas, or people who like are like, yeah, and I can understand for Palestinians, they're like, yeah, Hamas does not represent the country. They don't represent us. But however, if you say the same thing, okay, I can see where you guys are going, but then they're like, oh, then you support Israel. It's this whole guilt shaming thing, like whatever you don't want, like basically you want to hear what you want to hear, and not only that, like it's like you feel like you're being attacked personally. Like you want people to like support you, and yeah, and I get you have your supporters, but when you have the people that don't like agree with you, then you just shun them, and that's why a lot of people don't like supporting these kind of conflicts or like look at these like world issues, because it's in the sense, why am I even listening to this? It's not my problem. How's it gonna affect us? How does that affect America? How does it affect me personally? I mean, personally, it shouldn't, because I don't know, if you're Palestinian, then I mean, then I don't know what to tell you. I mean, couldn't really tell you at the top of my head, but I mean, there is one thing for certain though, that this is gonna end, but it's gonna drag. I feel like each side is trying to drag this out as long as it can, and each side is trying to get sympathy from the other, like from their side and from like other countries. I mean, here's the thing: if you're Muslim, then yeah, you're probably gonna support Palestine, or if you're not Muslim, then you're probably gonna support like Israel. I mean, I don't want to assume that, but I feel like that's probably how it's gonna go. Iran is probably gonna support Hamas, mostly because because Israel's supported by is funded by the U.S. and the Iranian government and the U.S. government aren't really like this. I mean, they've had their their beef like back in the day, like in the 80s. I mean, the whole Iran Contra thing, yes, yeah, look that up. So yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, but that's how I see it. I don't support either side, because people are like, don't see that like people are actually dying there. It's just like they're just flexing. Each side is flexing, and they're literally playing chicken with each other. They're trying to see which side can back up the most, and I don't know. I feel like this has been boiling to like a few years. I feel like this has been coming like for a while. I feel like Hamas has been like gathering enough strength and resources to come together and then just attack. I mean, obviously Israel was caught off guard, but now like it's at a stalemate. I mean, Ukraine's at a stalemate right now, and yeah, see how that goes. And for the record, if you're asking me, wait, then if you're talking about Ukraine, like who do you support? I support Ukraine mostly on the fact that, like, look, I feel like Putin is just like, flexing his like muscles here and saying like, and he feels like, oh, I'm trying to get like this, you know, I'm trying to, put everything back together like the way it was. The man is trying to bring back Soviet Russia. That's what I'm trying to say. And obviously Stalin had a big impact on Putin because I feel like that's what he's trying to emulate right now. I mean, I feel like he was raised pro-Stalin, and that's why he feels like he has to do what he has to do. Because if he backs down, then people are gonna look at him different. It's like, yeah, they're gonna look at him as like, you're not a leader. But hey, that's another discussion for another time. But yeah, honestly, like I said, and quick note, I am gonna repeat some stuff, so Anyway, the whole thing is yeah, I support neither side. I'm a neutral party, mostly because you're not thinking about the people who are involved in this. You're not thinking about the civilians. And I've seen pictures of before this, like pictures from the 40s, the 50s. Like, you have people who are living their lives. I mean, there's a picture of like an Armenian guy who had a business there. It's a side you normally don't look at because it's like nobody ever thinks about it. Everyone just thinks about the politics. Everyone just thinks about like, who's wrong, who's right, or basically, and also religion comes into this. And I'm sorry, when you put religion into this, I mean, it feels like a crusade at this point. Like you're making this a holy war. I'm sorry, but I mean, if this is like a holy war, then fine. I'll call it a crusade. Unofficially, it is a crusade because that area has been fought for years, and trust me, it's for hundreds of years actually. When one war ends, it ends like it's just peace for like 20 years, and then another war starts. I mean, but that's how it is. That's how it's been for like years. And honestly, I feel like there needs to be a change in that. I mean, I'm speaking for myself. I'm not really speaking for anyone here. Which is also another key point I like to point out when I'm making these kind of commentary type episodes. It's more like I'm a neutral party. I am going to speak my mind about certain things. And again, it's my opinion. You don't have to necessarily like it, but that's how it is. That's how I feel personally. Because I'm only speaking for myself. I don't speak for other people, and I can't speak for other people because it's not in my I can't. I really can't. I really can't. It's more like I have to stick to what I believe, not what people believe. I'm not speaking for someone who says, "Oh, this should be this and that because this and this," and then people are like, "Oh yeah, he speaks for us." Like, and then other people's like, "No, you don't speak for us," which is fair. I'm not really that kind of person to say, "Oh, I'm the voice of reason for everyone." But that's about it. What else can I say about that? Like I said, it's gotta end sometime, and sadly, more people are gonna suffer. But that's the way life is. You really can't predict like these kind of things. You really can't plan for these things. And even if you do, when's it gonna come? It's like the calm before the storm. You see the storm brewing, but you don't know when it's gonna hit. It's just looming there. I mean, you know. Whew. So, God, how long that took. I'm not. Hang on. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of interference on my side. So if you hear kids crying or an adult barking, I'm just gonna let you know right now. Again, I am recording in an apartment that I share with my brother. Unfortunately, this apartment is being shared by another family, and honestly, here's the thing. I don't want to cry, but I feel like at this point, I feel like they know I do this, and they intentionally try to, ruin it. Or not ruin it. They try to, to make it hard for me. Which I get it, but come on. Whenever I hear the kids crying in this apartment, it's like I feel like they're doing this intentionally, just to get a rise out of me and my brother. Which honestly, and here's the thing, it's a fucked up thing to assume, but hey, I mean, it's not like they haven't dude. They proved to me. Well, I can't really prove that they're actually doing this intentionally. The only thing is, it is temporary, so it's not really a big concern. It is a little bit, but not a lot. So, yeah, I keep that in mind. So, that's how my living quarters are. Not only that, me and my brother share the room. And occasionally, my niece would usually sleep in. Which is funny because as I'm recording this, my niece is actually up she's out there. Just in the apartment. Mostly because this apartment has her family. Here's the thing. I want a dog, alright? But here's the thing. If I have a dog like that, it's okay, I need to put my foot down and say, shut the fuck up, quit barking. But here's the thing. That dog there is not my dog, alright? I would tell my dog, yo, just chill the fuck out. And, be quiet. And I'm recording. But here's the thing, dogs will freak out over anything. Honestly, it's why, Why? So yeah, that's pretty much it about my living situation right now. For those who don't know, I don't think I told anyone, but the place I'm living in right now, I'm gonna be here till February at the latest, mid-February, around after the Super Bowl, so a week after, give or take. Me and my friends have already are looking for a place, an apartment for ourselves. And god damn it, shut up. Oh my god, dude. I'm lucky that's not my dog, because I would have just said shut the fuck up. I'm sorry. Here's the thing. I want a dog, but here's the thing. If I had a dog like that, I would lose it. I'm like, dude, shut up. Jeez. But again, sorry, no disrespect to dog people. It's funny. I associate. Here's the thing. I do better with cats, but Between me being a cat and a dog person, I don't know, man. It's just apples and oranges. I mean, I like both, but mm, honestly, I got nothing to say. I got nothing to that actually. So let's move on. Now, I do have sorry, this dog. Yeah, dude, I swear to God, this dog barks at everyone. And this is basically the same dog that comes through by like my screen window and literally begs for food. Like literally, she'll just sit there and whimper, like basically it's like feed me. I'm not your owner. You have food. I'm like, you have food in your dish. I don't know why you're coming at us. And my brother's like, dude, at this point, like, don't feed her. I mean, she's not our dog. You know? So, without further ado, before I was rudely interrupted, I like to go back and do our little thing that I did in my last two episodes. And going through my laptop here. Now, this thing I'm doing, for those who don't know or who are listening for the first time, is a segment I like to call Have You Heard? And the premise of Have You Heard is basically I tell stories that are not usually top headline or like breaking news kind of stories, but there are news that like seem to like they're more interesting. Basically, some stories that kind of like fall under the radar, but not really. It's one of those like, if it's a local story, then yeah, it's probably like a you know, a breaking news kind of story or like a top headline. Or if it's like national, it's like okay, it is, but like you know, like the whole mass shooter in Maine, that was headline news. I'm doing like basically what I'm doing is, you know, it's basically lesser news that are like not like top tier, but are still very interesting. I hope that clears it up. So, with that being said, and yes, I'm looking into my laptop. Sorry guys, I do have to look up these stories because, or else if I don't, it's because if I don't, it's like, then you know, what am I doing? Like how am I getting these stories? So, like I was saying, and here's the thing, here's the thing, I will credit the news source. Alright? I will go to CNN, I will go to ABC News, Fox News, whatever. I'll even look at newspapers, because, I mean, newspapers can go digital, you know? Like People Magazine or, well, I mean, whatever. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So, for this segment of Have You Heard? Six Flags and Knott's Berry Farm owners to merge, reshaping theme park landscape and mega deal. Okay, now I have heard of this before. Basically, Knott's Berry Farm is a theme park for anyone who doesn't live in California. It is a theme park in Southern California. It's close to Disneyland. I would say like, I don't know, like a half hour like drive away. I mean, Anaheim and Buena Park, where Disneyland and Knott's are respectively. They're very close, but not really. You would have to drive like half an hour just to get to each park. If you're in Buena Park, then you would have to drive 30 minutes to Disneyland, kinda, or I don't know, 15 minutes. I don't know. I don't go to Disneyland. But I have been to Knott's Berry Farm. Although I have been to Disney, but I've only been there once. My brother's been there like multiple times, mostly because he like, you know, has a daughter. So, yay. So basically, I've been to Knott's a lot of times. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I have some fun memories. I've also been in Six Flags, which is funny. I moved to Bakersfield and I did my 8th grade trip there, and it was kind of fun. And I actually went there like a few times afterwards. I mean, it was really nice. Um. So anyway, so yeah, Knott's Berry Farm is owned by Give me a second. It's actually owned by a company called Cedar Fair. Which, if anyone knows Cedar Point, is that how I'm saying it right? Because I've heard of Cedar Point Park. Dang it. Am I reading it right? Hang on, let me see. Sorry, guys. Yeah, Cedar Point. Yeah. They're all owned by, like, Cedar Fair. Yeah. Anyway, the owners of Cedar Fair and Six Flags are merging to make... Okay, I'll read it. Just so I can get you, like a clear idea. And by the way, keep in mind, this was from like a few days ago, so whenever this comes out, it might be like a week old by the time this comes out. Because guys, I do have to edit these. But basically, it says 2 iconic Southern California parks, Six Flags and Knott's, will come under the same ownership of a mega merger that is set to reshape the industry. The planned merger of Cedar Fair, the company that owns Knott's Berry Farm and Buena Park, and hang on, am I reading this right? And Six Flags Entertainment Corp, the Texas owner of Magic Mountain in Valencia, is expected to increase the footprint and earnings for the Blended Amusement Park Corporation with more than 40 regional theme parks across America. However, many industry experts say they will be closely watching how the two Southland parks, whether the Union as Magic Mountain and Knott's Berry Farm, are the only two parks in the merger operating long-term in the same market. Let's see. And here's the thing. People are saying like, see, said that he didn't expect the two parts to close the same merger, approved until. But here's the thing. The only thing I can get out of this is like right now that I see it is, you know, hang on. Hold up. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I have a little bit of difficulties right now, but anyway. And I mean, it basically says like, yeah, it's a cookie cutter park. Some people are not gonna make the drive. Here's the thing. If you're from that area, like in LA, if you're in LA and you have to go to either Disneyland, Six Flags, or Knott's Berry Farm, a lot of people are gonna go Disney because it's a more popular brand. I don't know why. I mean, there's been a lot of mergers with theme parks, and honestly, I don't get these, these mergers. Let's see. The merger would include 27 amusement parks, 15 water parks, and 9 resort properties in 17 states, Canada, and Mexico. Here's the thing: it's not a small time thing. It's actually a global thing. I mean, you think it's like, oh, it's just Disneyland owns this and this and that. Yeah, like they have parks in other countries. Yeah, and it's also there are other theme parks out there like SeaWorld. They do have their own thing. Universal, they have Orlando, they have Hollywood. Um, and honestly, I mean, you really can't like you. I feel like this is a slight towards Disney, and this is just based on my own personal bias on Disney. I mean, right now they're running out of ideas. Well, I do get that their new movie that's coming out this year to celebrate the 100th anniversary, The Wish, which apparently uses 2D and 3D animation, which I get it, but I feel at this point it's kind of like, you're kind of grasping at straws right now. And I don't know why. It says that some theme park enthusiasts were more surprised than others by the merger. You gotta remember, theme parks have been developing since the '50s, so they've been doing this for a long, long time. And here's the thing, the real concern is like Six Flags, because here's the thing, you notice that they raised their prices higher. Not only that, they added a new ride. They haven't even added a new ride. I think the new ride they added was like Wonder Woman or something. I don't know, but honestly, I would ride that actually. But that's the thing. You don't really see. You really don't see anything. Like they jack up the prices and yet they don't add like a new attraction. Knott's, I'm not familiar with them. Like I haven't gone there in a while, but I'm not sure. Last time I was there was like a couple rides that they added, but that's it. Honestly, hmm. Here's the thing I'm saying. They even have numbers for this. Look at this: 17 million visitors in 2022 at Disneyland. Look at that. And it was the second most visited park in the U.S. based on 22 attendance, behind Magic Kingdom in Orlando. I mean, see, estimated for the thematics report. Knott's Berry Farm came in among the top 20 with 3 million visits, just ahead of Magic Mountain with 2.9. Here's the thing: if you merge these two, here's the thing. Yes, it might bring up revenue a bit, but here's the thing: since these parks aren't really, that big, I can understand when they're not like in the tens, they're barely like in single digit, millions in terms of visitors, but they do turn profit. And here's the thing: you add a new ride, yeah, people are gonna want to ride that ride. You offer like a bundle deal. Oh, like 3 month pass, like for Not Very Farm, just pay. You pay, $20 after paying a down payment. Like, honestly, I had that. And it actually is good. The only issue is that if you're only going there for like here's the thing: if you only go there like once a month, it really doesn't really, help. It really doesn't help you. It's like, why do I even have it, It's like the annual pass for Disneyland. Like if you go every 2-3 times a month, okay, you're getting like, okay, if you're doing it like yearly, like you're using it 3 times a month, you're going 36 times a year. Okay, I get it. You're getting the best out of it. But here's the thing: if you're using it like once a month or once every other month, you feel like you're not even using it. I feel like why even buy it in the first place? And I think that's why a lot of like preferred those AP Disney passes are like go for so much because you expect to go like for so like this many times and then you really don't go. Honestly, I don't even understand why people like. And here's the thing: I'm 31. I mean, I have people who are literally a year, maybe 2 years older than me that still go, and it's like, okay. I mean, my brother was like 3 years younger than me. Basically, anyone who was born between 1987 and 1995, actually, you know what? From 1987 to 1987 to 1997, I feel like it's one of those we're reliving our childhoods. And we're living it through our children. And that's another issue that I have with like Disney. No disrespect to Disney, it's just that I just don't like the brand. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, this is the. And it even says Disney spends $250 million on a new ride. They're on a different level in terms of they're going for the scope. They're going for the scale. I mean, Magic Mountain and Knott, they're like in the middle market. It's like for the middle class, for leisure spenders. I mean, it's in a sense like you're paying for, if you go to Knott's Bay Farm, you're paying for what you like, for what you need. I want to go to have fun. I want to look at the merch. If I think it's good, I'll buy it. You have what I'm looking for? Okay, cool. I need this, and that. All right, cool. You have it. I mean, Disney's offers more of an expensive experience. And this is actually what and I think this is what they're trying to get with this merger. It's basically saying we want our how do I say it? Park goers. You want park goers to have that experience of, I want to get my money's worth, and I feel like Disney does give you what you want in terms of like. Giving what you want in terms of like your ticket value is like I spent $120 on a ticket and I'm gonna be here like for the next 4 or maybe 6 hours, 8 hours if I'm planning on staying here. I can see why everyone wants to like pay that much because you want to get your dollars, you want to get your money's worth. I get it. Nods, it's like in Six Flags, that whole merger thing, it's like we gotta compete with these guys because it's not because like, oh, people aren't going there. It's because Disney is doing this, like they're raising their like prices because. And here's the thing: if you're raising prices just to pay for the whole ride, I mean, then I can see why. It's like a city like paying for the stadium for a sports team. And here's the thing for sports fans, because SoFi Field, which is like up the road in Inglewood, I've been there for a concert. It hosts the Chargers, the LA Chargers, and the LA Rams. You have 2 teams. Okay, one of them leaves. Okay, you still have the stadium, but what if both leave? What if both teams leave? You still have to pay for the stadium because like the team's not using it anymore. You're thinking, why do we even have it? Why do we even have it in that still? I mean, you still have concerts, but even then, that like, and unless you get like certain big acts like Taylor Swift, who did a few shows there, more than a few shows. In fact, her concert movie was filmed there. So, I guess. But for me personally, I do support the whole, merger. Because for me, and it keeps Disney on their feet. It's like, okay, we have the competition now. So I feel like this is gonna drive like, okay, this is gonna like motivate Disney to do something. Honestly, I mean, I'll say it again. I don't even know what people see in Disney. I mean, I think it's a bit overrated. I mean, the products have been. I mean, I feel like for me, I'm a little sore because they ruined Star Wars for me. That's it. Marvel, I feel like you're. I don't know what you're doing with Marvel. I mean, you're going into these phases. I mean, phase one. I think you just finished phase three, and I think these new films that are coming out are part of phase four. You know, with the upcoming the Marvels, which I get, but I don't know, man. When you decide to milk shows like any Star Wars stuff or any Star Wars content, I feel like you're just beating a dead horse at this point. It's like you took whatever you could get out of it, and now I don't know. For me, Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker were like what really did it for me. It kind of just like you know. After that, I mean, what do you do afterwards? I mean, it's not like you got the damn it. You get the guy who worked on the original, not the original. You get J.J. Abrams who directed the first sequel, and then you bring him back to fix the mistake from Last Jedi. Then, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know what you want from us. But I will say this. I feel like, yeah, Disney reached its 100th. But I feel like the next couple of years, they're going to start going, like, plummet down, like, in terms of quality. I mean, the numbers will still be high. I mean, you'll still get, like, billions of dollars in revenue. But, like, I can guarantee you that, like, I would say 10 years at least, they're not going to be making billions. They're going to be making hundreds. They're going to be making millions, like, hundreds of millions. Which, they're going to be making low billions. I mean, and here's the thing, even if like, the park going, like, if it's crowd, for Knott's and Six Flags, doubles within the next 5 years because of that, hey, that's fine, I don't mind. I mean, I'll be going maybe once a week, well, not maybe once a week, maybe twice a month. I mean, I'll go with that. I'll go twice a month. If it's like for a year, then yeah, I'll probably go in like what, maybe 20 times a year. I'll bring my niece. I mean, you got Camp Snoopy. I mean, like, honestly, I mean, yeah. Also, I've never been to Cedar Point, but I did listen to the New Heights podcast, and Jason and Travis Kelce talking about like Cedar Point. I actually want to go to Cedar Point because I mean the way those two described it, it sounds pretty dope. I mean, if let me know if anyone's like been there. I mean, how is it? Like, I've heard it's good. I mean, obviously, they raved about it. I feel like, okay, maybe it's a place I would want to go. I wonder if it, because I feel like it does fit the Knott's Berry. I feel like Cedar Point, which is like the whole thing that started this thing. I mean, although Knott's has been there, like, was its own thing before they got bought out. Anyway, basically, I feel like that's like I feel like that's like shit. Oh, what's it going? Oh yeah, basically Cedar Point. It's like the Knott's of Ohio, but bigger, way bigger. I mean, maybe twice as big as Knott's. I don't know. The way they described it, I feel like that's a very big place. And I actually want to go. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I would actually, you know, pack a bag and go to Ohio for a week, and just to go to that park alone. Just like I'll buy a weekly pass if I have to. And so like, hey, I'm gonna go. So I mean, yeah, I mean, it actually would be a nice vacation. I mean, Airbnb out there. It's like 20-minute like drive there. Like I don't really mind that. I mean, actually, I mean, now that I think about it, I mean, that actually does sound like a good idea. But let's just focus on it right now. Whew. So we now reach the end of our podcast, and for those who don't know, this is a little segment I like to call Final Thoughts. Think of it as like, and I actually got the idea from Jerry Springer. You know, but I don't want to like take his whole shtick, but like I feel like I gave these like final thoughts as to like what I think, or basically to summarize certain stuff. So, and I usually say that does it. I mean, this does it for this week's episode. My final thoughts, and then I go on my final thoughts. So for my final thoughts is I really want to expand it's not my brand, but like I feel like I just want to reach like a bigger audience, because I feel like I'm being heard but not seen in a sense. But I feel like making this transition is more of a beneficial thing, because I might get some views, I might get some like comments and stuff like, okay, I get it, you're doing like you're just starting like the podcast, like the whole video thing. I get it. You're starting out. But I mean, if anyone like give you pointers on like how to do these kind of things, like because here's the thing, I will edit this, so just comment down and say like, oh, okay, maybe you should do it like this, or maybe you should have some lights or something, or so I can brighten up the room. Let's see what else. Yeah, and that's about it on that actually. Also, this is actually gonna go on my YouTube channel, which by the way isn't just gonna be like a podcast channel. It's more like a various video kind of thing. Like I will be. Also, I still gotta edit my introductory video to the channel, which I still gotta edit. I mean, work has been like really hectic, and I barely have any time to do anything. So yeah, hopefully. Oh yeah, I also forgot to remind y'all that videos do come out on Friday. Actually, I'm trying to figure out the time, maybe 12:30, but we'll see. When it comes out, it'll come out, and that time's when it comes out, then yeah, it'll come out when it comes out. So if it's 12 o'clock, if it's 12 p.m., then yeah, it's gonna come at 12 p.m. If it's at 12:30 p.m., hey, 12:30 p.m., But it's either gonna be one of those. More likely noon. And they will come on Friday. Yeah, so I can't guarantee that right now at the moment. So until I edit this video, I mean, it's gonna be a while though. Maybe a day or two. Then I'll look at it, and then it's like, oh, after that, like I look at it, it's like release it, Like I said, it's gonna be probably a while before I actually, start doing this in the studio. But give it a year or two. Actually, give it a year actually. So yeah, I mean, like I said, this is like a good way for me to brand myself. Like, like do this. Even if I don't get like a lot of views, like so what? I'm not really in it for the views. I just really like doing this. And I just want to say that here's the thing: you don't need another podcast to listen to in your life. But if you want to hear someone giving their opinions, or just want to hear somebody talk, I mean, hey, welcome aboard. I don't mind. I do have a Patreon, so give that a go. But yeah, that's the thing. It's I'm not forcing you to listen to this. It's on your own volition. If you agree, hey, you agree. If you don't, hey, that's okay. I'm not here to appease anyone. I'm just sticking to my audience. And the reason I cater to my audience is because they know, they understand what they're listening to. They said, sorry, but so sorry. Yeah, the also, by the way, I like to put a disclaimer that I'm doing this on my day off, and I'm sorry. I understand babies cry, but come on, but there you go. Sorry. Dude, yeah, no, this is taking way too long. I expected this to go. Oh, by the way, most of these are gonna be mostly like an hour 10, hour 15. Right now, I'm going on that mark. But regardless, I just want to say, I'm not forcing you to watch this or listen to it or whatever. But I do want to give, I just want to put my voice out there. And if you agree, you agree. If not, it doesn't matter. I'm not forcing people to like this. Oh, that's on my camera. Sorry. But yeah. Go for it. My other final thoughts on the whole, Hamas-Israeli war is the thing. When war happens, people are caught in the middle, and that's unavoidable. However, when you focus on the politics and the religion and the whole military strategic importance of your campaign, you're really not doing much good if you're just ignoring the people you're trying to protect. And I don't know why they have the freaking vacuum on right now. Sorry, but I'll probably take these down. So if it looks like I'm going to if it looks like it's I'm looking off weirdly to the side, just don't worry. I'll edit this out. I'll put a disclaimer. I'll put something on the screen or whatever. But anyway, the whole Hamas thing, it's just basically a conflict. It feels like you're not fighting for the people if your people are constantly being killed by the enemy or by you. And I've heard that some people and some Palestinians are being used as human shields. I don't know if that's true, but here's the thing: if you're using innocent people to cover and protect you, that's what soldiers are for. They're used to protect, and you're using defenseless people as your shield, then you might as well be a barbarian for that. Where's your sense of honor? And why is the fucking cleaner on? Sorry, this shouldn't bother me, but yeah. But yeah, that's my point of the whole Hamas-Israeli war. You really should be fighting for your people. They should be protecting people, not fighting them, or bombing them because they're associated with your enemy. not cool. It really isn't. I mean, for one, to just focus on getting the people out. And honestly, I do stand by my previous statement, like in a few episodes back, where it's like, if you're not gonna play nicely, then we're gonna have to take it away from you, so no one can play with it. I.e., blow the entire region up so no one lives in it, and say, hey, this is what your bickering's led to. Now no one gets it. It may be controversial for some, but hey, that's how I feel. But on the whole, Knott's Berry Farm, the whole Knott's Six Flags thing, it's kind of cute. Well, not really cute. It's kind of nice, actually. You're merging these two, and the fact, I feel like part of my childhood is merging into, like, together, and, like, it's growing, and, like, for me, it's like, you know what, this is nice. And also, it'll give me a good reason to actually go to these parks, because those places had so much nostalgic memory for me. I've had so many good memories at both parks that I'm like, you know what, I can get on board with this. I mean, it's not gonna be the smoothest transaction. See, we'll have to. I mean, it's gonna be like, a rough patch in the beginning, but I feel like in a couple of years, I feel like they'll nail it. And the fact they'll probably give Disney a run for their money. It's like, oh crap, like, oh man, they're coming at us. And if both parks combine to make like 10 million, it's like, hey, they're catching up. Even if 2 out of 1 goes to Disney, if you have 3 people and 2 of them go to Disney, guess what? That one person is going to go to Knott's or either Six Flags. Honestly, and the fact that they're keeping everything like the same, I ain't got no problem with that. Also, I'm not going to pay $25 for like a 4x6 picture of me on the log ride. Like, that's just ridiculous. For one picture, $25. And 30 if you buy 2 of them for some reason. I don't know. But yeah, those are my thoughts on today's topics that I just covered. So, like I said, sorry, it's freaking vacuum. Like, they keep turning it on and off. But anyway, that does it for this week's show. My first video podcast episode. Oh, the freaking vacuum. I feel like this one's just doing this to annoy me. Sorry. So, you know what? Screw it. The vacuum's on. I'm just gonna go for it. So, this does it for this week's video. Sorry about the interference, but like I said, I'm on my day off from work, and this is the only time I can do it. Didn't expect them to be so annoying, but hey, that's how it is. Hopefully my new place isn't going to be like this. So anyway, like I said, that does it for this week's show. And as always, thank you guys for listening and watching. If you're watching this on YouTube. And yeah, like I said, I mean, thank you guys for like listening. And I'm actually grateful for you guys actually like watching this or listening to this. It really helps. Even if it's like maybe a dozen people will watch it or maybe a dozen people will listen to it. It's still something, you know. I mean, I realized they're just using, and I realized they're just using that vacuum to torture the dog. Because dogs are afraid of vacuums for some reason. Anyway, so for the 3rd time or 4th time or whatever, thank you guys for listening, watching, whatever. Or better yet, thank you guys for tuning in. So yeah, this does it for this week's episode. As always, this is Jose, and as always, I'll see you guys later. And this has been the podcast. Peace.